Hi, my name is Kristin McDonald, and I'm with Kristin and Co Photography. I've had quite a few requests to do some videos on my editing process, and I recently have been doing some headshot photo shoots with a fellow local photographer, Pam Stukenborg. And this is one of the shots that I got from one of the student sessions. With this video, I wanted to kind of cover a cleanup, a simple cleanup, as well as um, editing the glare in the glasses. This is something that commonly occurs, especially when you're shooting with flash or a strobe light. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to show you is the difference between this initial photo that you see here. As with all of us, we have a few blemishes. I have removed those to kind of clean up the distraction there, as well as taking all of that glare away from her beautiful brown eyes so that you're able to see them kind of shine through. So this is the initial image before editing, and then this is the after image. So as you can see, the glare is gone, her eyes are shining through, and the image is about her face and the emotion in her face versus all of these distractions that don't make up the light in her eyes and her smile. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to show you how I get started with an edit, and predominantly with this type of editing, I focus on Photoshop, or I edit in Photoshop. I do a lot of my other edits in Lightroom, but when it's heavier edits like this, obviously I'm going to use Photoshop. It's a lot more flexible and I have a lot more control. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I would do is open the file that I am wanting to edit, which is not that one, it's this one. This is the file. As you can see over here, there aren't any additional layers. I have no history. These are just open directly from the file itself. The image that you saw just a moment ago, I actually had her during the photo shoot. I had her take her glasses off and did a couple of shots with the glasses off so that I had something to use to combine both of the images and something to work with post production. So I made sure to pull both of those images that I'm going to be using into Photoshop, and I'm going to be working from the image with the glasses, which is this one here. But I'm going to go ahead and go to this page or this image, and I'm going to grab the background, click, and I'm going to drag it over here to this image and overlay it. The first thing that I noticed when I did that was there was a shift in her head and the way her head is positioned. The easy way to be able to overlay an image, that way you're able to turn it and kind of construct it so that it is easy to view and make sure a correct overlay. So her eyeball's not over here in her head, or make sure that the face is the same size and positioning. So what I do first is I come over to opacity and I lighten the opacity or lower it. And that way I can kind of see where the eyeballs are. And I always even out or overlay the eyes and the pupils, because that way I can then, I usually start with one eye and then I kind of adjust the other eye. So as you can see with this image, I have the eyes dropped down, the mouth is tilted. So with this image, you can see that her face is kind of at a slant a bit. So what I'm wanting to do with the image that I'm going to be using, the eyes, is I want to slant it and I want to move it up and over to the right some. So I'm actually working on a Surface Studio, so occasionally I may be grabbing my pen and I'm not sure how that's going to be translating during these edits. So I'm going to go ahead and move her face over, and as you can see, it'll start to look clear when you know that you've got the positioning correct. I'll use my mouse to kind of click and drag. Just for you all that aren't familiar with Photoshop, this is going to be the dragging option or the moving option, you want to make sure that you're selected on the layer that you're wanting to move, and then select the move tool. And then you'll be able to do some shifting. The first thing you're going to notice after you see this is I have this eye, but we have a little bit of ear that's not lined up, and then this other eye is dropped down. So the first thing that I would do is grab on the outside of my image, because that's going to allow me to rotate the image versus just moving it up and down or over. And I'm going to grab and I'm going to start to kind of tilt and see where, I don't want to tilt too much, but I want to see exactly where this is kind of lining up. And the next thing that I typically do is make sure that the teeth and the smile are more lined up. I'm going to be doing a quick job today. It's not going to be the absolute perfect job. However, you'll kind of get an idea of how you can be editing your own images. Just so you know, I also use my up and down arrows when I'm using the move tool, because it gives me a little more granularity and shifting and moving. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it here just so you kind of get an idea. It's not absolutely perfect, but I'm going to go ahead and up the opacity, and then I'm going to do a layer mask. This is going to allow me to edit the image and kind of layer masks are really great to be able to edit an image without doing any type of destruction to your original layer or original file. And this is going to allow me to do a layer mask. And what that means is it's actually I'm going to hide the layer mask, but it's still going to be there. And then I'm going to basically erase the layer mask in the areas that I want to come through into my background image. It'll all come together here in just a moment. So in order to do a layer mask, first of all, I need to place my and position my my move. So I'm going to check that box at the top of the page. And then, as you can see, I have my layer 1 here that's now, you can actually see how it's moved a bit. You can see some of the background. And then I'm going to come down here. First, I want to make sure that that's selected. This is the one I'm going to place the layer mask. I personally click Alt, and this is for your layer mask. If you're on a Mac, it's your Command and click. Otherwise, if you just want to come up here to layer, and you can do layer mask, and you want to hide all. Either way, it's going to give you the same result. So I'm going to go ahead and select my layer 1. Don't forget that needs to be selected. And the first thing that you'll notice is my image goes away. It's still there, but now there's a layer mask that is not, it's hiding the entire image. So the first thing that I want to do here, after I've done that, I want to make sure, and I'm going to click over here just so you see, it will highlight what I'm actually editing. So you want to make sure that you have highlighted or selected the actual layer mask. The next thing that you'll want to do is come over here and select your paintbrush tool. So the brush tool is going to allow you to start painting off the areas that you want to come through into this background image that you see here. So you do notice that the layer 1, the item that we have selected over here on the far right, is black. So black means that it's hidden, white means that it's shown. My paintbrush, I want to select white. I want white to be what I'm going to be, I want it to be the item that I'm selected, so that I'm able to bring forward the eyeballs from the layer 1 that I have hidden in my mask. If you are on the black, you won't be able to see anything. It's just basically coloring in the black over black. So you don't get any results. So I'm going to go ahead and select the white. And I'm also going to come up here and double check on my hardness. I like to work with lower hardness. And what that means is it's going to be fuzzier on the outside. It's not just going to be a hard circle or a hard line. Whenever I'm doing any type of background work or the work that I'm doing now, it kind of gives a little more natural look. And I can show you an example really quick. So if I start drawing on this, you can see that it's kind of moving that other eye in the background up. But if I happen to come over here and grab this hard one, you'll see that it's just you can see the line here is very prominent, and you can see all of that. You don't want that to be too prominent, because it'll look like you've actually done what we're trying to do, and we want it to look as natural as possible. So I'm going to come up here to my history, and I'm going to actually back up a couple so that we can go ahead and start working on editing this eye. So, and actually I did do another one here. So let's come back over here and make sure the brush is selected, the white selected, and I'm going to go ahead and select my other brush tool. And I'm going to come over here to the eye and start working on the eye. I typically click. A lot of people like to just color it all in. I like to click because then I'm getting a little more natural. Again, I'm trying to make this look as natural as possible. And I don't want to select. If I happen to do this, for example, it's going to take the glasses away. So you want to make sure that you are avoiding removing the glasses. You're just trying to get that area within the glass frame so that you're kind of making her eyes come out from the other image. I do want to point out here that you can see that it's starting to kind of pull away that layer mask, and which is actually showing anything under that layer mask into the image that we're wanting to show the eyes. So this is a great opportunity to show you how to get the glasses back. Obviously, you can go to the history and go back, or you have the ability, and I end up doing this at the very end as well, just to kind of fine tune everything, to move this to black, and you're basically coloring the black over that again to cover that mask up. So that's kind of that process there. And let me go ahead and grab some of this just to show you kind of what I did before. I took a lot of this. I'm doing a quick job just to show you. I usually click versus swiping. But I'm going to go ahead and drag all of this. You kind of get an idea of what this looks like. I'm very careful about shadows. Shadows are very important. It kind of gives off, it shows kind of your personality in the picture versus just it being a straight shot and bright. Obviously, we have the glasses here, so there's the change in the face and how it kind of volumizes what you see. So it makes it look like there's a section here that's missing, but that was actually in the original image as well. So we want to keep it as accurate as possible. And I do have, I'm going to go up here and grab my hardness tool. I'm going to move it up just a smidge, and that way I can kind of get a harder line on here, because I kind of took away some of that, so it kind of looked like it wasn't supposed to be there, a little darker around the eyes. So that is how I got the eyes so clear. I do, just to give you another pointer that I do, I will come over here and hide my layers and the visibility and see if I've gotten everything. And you can kind of see at this point that, and I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit so you can see, I am missing some of the spots within the eyes, and I was doing a fast job, but I'm going to go ahead and bring back my white and go ahead and get the rest of that, just so I have consistency all through here. All right, so let me, I meant to grab the black. I had a little bit there. And so that's kind of how I use the masking tool. Once I'm finished with that, I'm going to go ahead and show my background again. And I'm happy with that image or that portion of my editing. Then I will merge the two. If you forget to merge the two and you go to continue editing, for example, taking out any blemishes, you may be editing on the mask and not get anything accomplished. So I like to work per functionality or per edit, and then move on to my next edit. So I'm going to come over here and right click on both of those after I've selected them both and click merge layers. And then I'm going to begin on some of the show you how I kind of do blemish removal or anything that's distracting. I obviously want to leave this natural presence about somebody, because it's important that whatever you're editing, you want to make sure that that is what's shining through, or at least for me and the type of photography that I do. I want to make sure that I bring out the beauty in somebody and there aren't any distractions. So I am going to kind of move in here a bit and get a little bit closer so I can edit quicker. I'm going to come over here. We have some different tools here for healing and patch tool. I'm going to be using the spot healing brush tool. And you can, something that I think is really helpful, I'm making it smaller and bigger. You have the ability to use the brackets on your keyboard. The bracket left is to make it smaller, and the bracket right is to make it bigger. But I usually try to keep it as small as possible so it doesn't look as obvious when I've done a blemish removal. And then, but again, I'm just going to do kind of a quick job here just so you guys get an idea of how I edit any kind of dark spots or blemishes on my models. And again, I don't want to take away a lot of what somebody looks like, but we want to feel confident with our images and make sure that there aren't things that, I mean, just as a client of mine, I know that they want to feel confident in their image, especially if they're using it for LinkedIn or something that has to do with a job. And you just kind of want to get either a model job or a job in the corporate world, and you want to show your best face. So no pun intended. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a couple more of these. I fine tune just the major areas. And the great thing about Photoshop is there's a lot of content awareness with any of the editing. So if you kind of, it tries to keep, especially when it comes to skin, you tend to have the ability, instead of just doing a patch tool and copying whatever is there, you can kind of select with this this brush, and it will have content aware, so it's not too dark or too light. It's kind of smart enough to realize what exactly you're doing. So so I've kind of done a few blemish items here. Any kind of lint that you might have, or if you happen to have any white bits anywhere, I try to make it stand out a little less. And then if I have any kind of hairs out of place, I try to, kind of clean that up. Again, anything that seems distracting to me, and that's distracting from the eyes or the smile, I tend to get rid of those things. So again, this is a fast job just to see how this works, but this is kind of, let me go back so you can get kind of the full-on image. So now you can see this was how we've kind of finished up here. You've seen kind of that entire process of cleanup as well as glasses. You kind of got a 2-for-1 here. But if you go back and look at the original image versus the current image, you can see that there was a huge difference. And now it's a beautiful image where you can see her eyes shining through and her beautiful smile, and everything stands out that needs to be standing out. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be doing additional video tutorials and just how-tos down the road, and I hope you continue to watch, and thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.